SR High School, where I'm a rising junior. Just like, all the other people that came before me here. I'm also doing an obstacle avoiding robot. However, my project is much more simple. I have basic function. I mean, my robot, it goes straight, and then when something comes close to it, it turns left. That's what it does. So yeah, here it is in action. All right. All right. It's having a bit of an issue. So I guess I'll show you a video. All right, the video is having a bit of an issue, but basically, the way that my project works is that both of these are supposed to turn, but the way that's supposed to work is that you have these and these motors, they go forward, and then when I put my hand in front of here, oh, here it is, it's working now. All right, so it goes straight. It's working a little bit. When I put something in front of the sensor, you can see it starts to turn. One of the motors is going a bit slow now, so I don't really know what's up. All right, so basically, I have an ultrasonic sensor, and I have two motors. Two motors, they turn the car forwards, and they can turn backwards too. When the sensor senses something within 25 centimeters, which it does by shooting ultrasonic beams towards everything in front of it, it tells one of the motors to go forwards and one to turn backwards. This causes the robot itself to turn left. This allows the robot to avoid objects. If something is in front of it, it'll turn left, and then if something is, it'll do the same process again. If something is in front of it there, continuing to turn left until it can keep going straight. During the creation of my project, I had a number of issues. At the start, I didn't really know how to code. I didn't really have much experience, but I learned a lot. So, I mean, I wasn't very neat. I put a bunch of pins in the same holes. In the code, had overlapping pins, which caused my sensors to not work, caused my motors to not work. Some of the wires in my motor broke off. I had pins in the wrong places, which caused my Arduino to shut down. But I was able to get through these challenges, and while you couldn't really see it here, my robot was working. So I also had very long traveling time for my soldering iron. This caused what you saw there. Most of my robot is held together by mere zip ties. But it stays together, so that's all right. So yeah, during this time, I learned a lot. I learned how to code. I learned to do if statements. I tried this project before when I was in school and I couldn't do it. But now, I learned enough to be able to do it. I learned, I learned so many new types of code, if statements. I learned how to code for the motor. I learned how to code for the sensor, which I never knew. I've never even could have done. But, now I know it and I can use it, when I'm in school, when I'm on different teams, whenever I'm doing something with robots, be able to use that knowledge. I'll be able to, I learned how to use a soldering iron. I could always use that in the future. I learned how to use so many different parts. I learned how to put the chassis together. It was definitely very educational experience. So with regards to what I would like to fix in the future, I mean, I try to get my robot to work again. But I'll also, try to get rid of the breadboard, which has the wires, and I would just like to make all the connections through soldering connections, so that my robot is much more neat and I don't have to use zip ties anymore. I'd also maybe like to add some other features, like the other people's projects we had here. Maybe, adding lights, maybe adding some sort of controller, some sort of hand signals. That would also be cool. So yeah, that's my project.
Nice.
Great work. Really bad with the buttons. All right. Next up, we're going to hear from Will. Shockingly, Will also built a robot project. I don't know if we've caught on to the trend yet here. But Will, he brought in some really interesting biomimicry. So he actually made his robot a chameleon, which is really